No, we just got freaking robbed. Like, I gotta get out of here. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It is D Wood here, and I have a very special and crazy video for y'all. Today I'm going to be doing my makeup and telling y'all the time I got robbed. This is not clickbait. They really robbed your girl. Like, they robbed me. They got me clean. I didn't mention anything that I used in the video just because it's actually kind of hard to recall this story and like focus on doing my makeup the right way. Before we get into the video, don't forget to go ahead and give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, y'all, let's get into the story time. Okay, y'all, so let's go ahead and get into this story time. Okay, so where do I even start, girl? Let me see. Okay, so let me kind of just give y'all like a background of the place, okay? So my freaking salon suite got robbed. Like, they cleared me out. I have been in this building for 1.5 years, but by the way, this whole event happened December 15th, 2020. 2020 was a heck of a year, honestly, and yeah, y'all gonna understand why. Okay, so December 15th, 2020 is when this whole thing happened. I have been in this building since early 2019 when the came around. I decided to give up my salon suite because I was paying rent for somewhere where I was not, you know, I couldn't do work, I couldn't do makeup, I couldn't work because of the, so I was like, I'm gonna just give it up. So in June 2020, my mom had given me the idea to see if Shania wanted to get a suite together because she had been looking for a place to work also. So she agreed, so we moved in. I was in the same building, we just moved to a bigger suite that was across the hall. Actually, literally, it was right across the hall. So I was still in that building, and mind you, we moved in June, and this whole robbery happened in December, right? So I was there for pretty long, so I was pretty comfortable with this building. I never felt, you know, unsafe or anything like that. I was just, you know, I was just there, and I didn't feel like I had to watch my back. Like, you know, when you go to certain places, you like, ooh, this place seemed a little iffy, I need to watch my back and clutch my pearls. I never felt like that at this building. So I was always very comfortable and just very, very relaxed. So a bit down the line, we got a new cleaning crew, and I'm not saying it was the cleaning crew that did this, but I'm just saying we got a new cleaning crew. And one time I pulled up to the salon, and I freaking saw one of the workers inside of the dumpster. Like, you know those big green dumpsters that are like in office parks, like in the parking lot? They were in the dumpster, long story short. And I'm like, that's very odd. But I'm thinking, because every time they clean the building, like, it literally always smelled so good. And, you know, this was the cleanest the building had ever been, right? So I didn't think much of it. I'm thinking, like, maybe the inside of the dumpster is dirty, and, you know, they're just trying to clean it. That's literally what I was thinking. Like, so innocent. I was not thinking anything other than, oh, they're just trying to clean. Fast forward a couple of freaking days, I pull up to the office, and there was like a storage closet that was right next to our new suite, and it was across the hall from my old suite. I've never seen this door open before, and it was just wide open. So I'm like, this is kind of suspicious, but again, I didn't think much of it. I'm thinking like, oh, because it's like, it was storage and like utilities and stuff. So I'm like, okay, maybe somebody, everything that built up to this, I was always like, maybe this, maybe that. Like, I never thought anything bad was gonna happen. So anyway, long story short, that door to that storage closet or whatever was open for like the whole day that I was working, and I had started work really early that day and I didn't leave till really late. I remember that day that that closet was open also, I did see some of the, it was like a family, like a group. They seemed to be a family. It was like a couple old ladies and a couple older guys and like some younger teenagers slash young adults. Like those were the people, the new cleaning crew that we had. They seemed like a family. I remember walking out and I saw one of them and they introduced themselves to me. Like, hey, yeah, we're the new cleaning crew, which I already realized we had a new cleaning crew. Girl, they literally said, oh yeah, we're here, we're this, we're that. Like they were full, like giving me the rundown of like the services that they were gonna be providing. So it kind of made me feel like, okay, we got new people. And this building that we were in, it was very low key and very, it was just a low-key building. Like it didn't get much traffic. It was off of the main road, so it wasn't like cars would pass by and see us and be like, oh, I'm gonna rob that place. Like it was very, very low-key. So I met the workers and didn't think anything of it. Girl, I also need to mention that I am a type of person, well, I don't work late anymore, but I used to really work like until like 11 p.m. Like I didn't leave the salon until like 11. Like this building, I just was comfortable there. I never felt, you know, unsafe or anything. So the robbery happened either Sunday night, and I worked Sunday night. Like I left hella late, or Monday morning. I didn't work Monday. So it could have happened on Monday morning. It could even happen like early Tuesday morning. Long story short, I say all that to say I left the salon late on Sunday night, and I walked my client out. Like we both left at the same time. Nothing suspicious. Ooh, my contact just tried to pop out, y'all. So I'm just gonna jump right into the day all of this crap unfolded. So I had a client, I believe it was at 11 a.m. So I showed up, it either was 10 or 11 a.m. It was early morning, but not too early, and it wasn't noon yet. I got to the salon really early because that's just me. I like to set up and I like to prepare my mind. You know, I just want to prepare my mind for work. That's like, you know, getting to work a little bit before it's time to clock in. You know, that was my typical routine. Get there an hour early so I could properly clean and set up and have everything nice and fresh from my clients. So that was the plan for this day. I pulled up to the freaking salon and I sat in the car for a little. Nothing looked suspicious. I was really just chilling because I had got there earlier than my typical early. So I'm chilling, probably just listening to music. I finally decided to go in. The door looked completely normal, like nothing was out of place, like nothing looked suspicious. So of course, I'm not thinking anything. As I'm like walking up to the main door was glass. As I'm walking up to the door, I see one of the girls, she does hair there. Okay, let me stop real quick to let y'all know. The building that I'm in, it's actually an office park, and they kind of were trying to convert this specific area that we were in into like beauty. So there was eyelashes, there was like 2 lash techs in there, 2 makeup artists, like 3 hairstylists, and some random guy that did something. I think he sold like insurance or something. So it was just us in that area. We were the only tenants in this portion of the building, and there were 2 other parts of the building that were like typical offices, like insurance, immigration, what else was there, like stuff like that, tax places, like, you know, regular stuff. So the beauty side, this was the only side that got hit. Oh, also we always kept the lights off like when no one was there, because we were such a small, I don't even want to call us a family, because I was really only close to 2 of the tenants that were there, 1 lash tech and 1 hairstylist. hairstylist, right? It was just always one of our responsibilities, whoever was the last one out, to cut off all of the lights in the building. Should have been automatic, but the building is old also, I should mention. But they were doing like renovations and everything, so it didn't really look as old as it really was, but it was still an old building. So I'm walking in and I noticed that one of the doors, and this is like, I barely see this because the lights are still off in the building. I noticed that one of the doors is completely off the hinges. I'm like, that's odd. I didn't freak out. I'm just like, that's weird. But that hairstylist, she hadn't been there in a while. Like maybe like before we got shut down for you know what. She wasn't there, so I'm thinking, oh, and also we got a new tenant and she was a lash tech. And her suite was like the main, like she had like a her own separate entrance. She was like the first suite in the building, and it was the biggest suite there too. So I'm thinking, oh, they're switching, like maybe the rent or something in that specific unit is too much. So I'm thinking they're just either like gonna switch or do some renovations. Like I said, the building is old, but they were working to improve like the appearance of it and everything. So I'm literally just thinking, like, I just didn't think anything bad. I was thinking they're gonna do renovations. But honestly, that's really just the type of person I am. I give people the benefit of the doubt all the time, and sometimes I always just jump to the worst conclusion. But for something like this, I was just like very naive to the whole situation. As I'm like walking closer up to her door, I'm noticing that like all her stuff is like jumbled all around. And still I'm thinking renovations, like that would totally happen. That would be the case if they were doing renovations, like things would be everywhere. So I didn't think much of it, and something just told me to turn around. And like that unit that I was just telling y'all with the girl, she had her own separate entrance. When I turn around, that's the suite that I'm facing. She's in the front of the building. She's the first suite there. So now I'm facing that big unit, the one with the separate entrance and everything. And I also see that her stuff is all over the place. Like her paperwork, her utensils, not her utensils, but like her supplies, like everything. Her lash bed was like thrown across the room, and I wasn't sure if that's how she just kept her stuff. Again, so naive, because this was one of the girls that I really did not talk to like that. So I'm like, maybe she's just messy, like maybe this is just how she keeps her stuff. Like I'm literally just, oh my god, now thinking back at it, I hate that I was being so naive. But anyway, so her stuff is all over the place, and I'm thinking to myself like, dang, this girl is actually kind of messy. Like she's messy, because I never been in her suite either. So I'm like, I've never even like had a peek inside of her suite. Girl, no, they freaking robbed her. So the whole building got hit, by the way. Like the whole beauty side of the building got hit. So I keep walking, and I'm walking like down the hall towards my salon suite. Now I'm headed towards my salon suite, and before I hit the corner for my, like to make my turn to my suite, there's a lash tech there, and I've been in her salon suite plenty of times, and I know how she keeps her space. It was a mess. Like it was empty in there. Her TV was gone. Her papers were like all over, and it just looked a mess. Oh my god. So I'm like, now it's starting to click to me, like something's not right. Also, her door was popped off the hinges. I'm like, something's not right. Y'all, when I tell you, this is when I low-key started to get a bit nervous, but like my anxiety really wasn't up that high. But I'm still thinking like, maybe there's an explanation for all of this. So I'm headed, I keep walking back, and I passed, remember I told you there was a guy there that did stuff for the car insurance or whatever. So I see that, and I've never been inside of his suite, but it just did not look right. There was like tires and tools like thrown all over the room. His desk was in shambles. There was no computer. Like it just looked a mess. Now again, I'm like high alert, like what the heck is going on? And as I turned the corner, I'm like, okay, I know I'm not doing no renovations. I'm not doing nothing in my suite. So when I walk back there, my door better not be popped off the hinges or it's gonna be a freaking problem. I walk back there, guess what? My door's popped off the freaking hinge. I'm like, no, we just got freaking robbed. Like, I gotta get out of here. I turned to my left because another hairstylist, she actually was the lady I was renting from. She was like, she wasn't the owner, but I was renting from her. She's a hairstylist. Her door popped off the hinges, her stuff everywhere. I literally only glanced in there 10 seconds. Not even 10 seconds, like a split second, and I was like, I gotta get out of here. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I did not look in my space to see what was taken, nothing, because like we were in the back. Remember I told y'all there was a suspicious little storage door? Keep that in mind, okay? We were right by the little storage door that had been open and it had never been opened before. So I literally grabbed my purse so tight. Y'all, I was Shelly, what's the girl name from the Olympics? The Jamaican girl that with the y'all know who I'm talking about, Shelly Ann. Girl, I was running. Oh my God, I do not even run fast, but I was up out of there as fast as I could get. Y'all, it's so hard to tell this story and do makeup. Let me set my under eye real quick and then I'm gonna get back to the story. So I hopped in my little car, and at this time I had a Hyundai Accent and it was very small and it did not go fast at all. When I didn't even get a chance to put my seatbelt on. Like, I jumped in the car and skirted off. Did not even have a chance to fully put my car fully into reverse and fully back into drive. Like, when I tell you I was out of there, I had to get out of there because I was scared. I did not know if the robber was still there watching me. Like, I didn't know. I was scared. Something like this has never happened to me before, so I was nervous, I was scared, I didn't know what to think, and I honestly don't even remember what I was thinking at that moment. All I was worried about was like, girl, you have to get out of here because you might die if you stay in here. Trying to figure out who did it and why. Girl, get out of here. So I drove to the nearest gas station. I didn't even call the police. The first person I called was my mom, and I'm telling her, I'm literally on the phone where I'm like, Ma, we just got robbed. She's like, what? Like, she was not really like on alert because I guess she just wasn't expecting something like this to happen. Like, when somebody calls you, you're not expecting them to say, I got robbed. You're either expecting them to say like, hey, I made it, or girl, guess what happened? So me being like, we got robbed, she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, the salon, we got robbed. I walked in and everything. Like, girl, I'm so dramatic. Like, thinking back on the story is hilarious. It's hilarious because I'm just such a dramatic person. So my mom's like, do you want me to come up there? I'm like, no, what are you gonna do? She's like, you need to call the police and get out of there right now. I'm like, girl, I'm already out of here. Like, that was the first thing I did. I didn't waste no time getting out of there. You did not have to tell me that. If anything, you had to tell me to call the police, but you did not have to tell me to get out of there. Everybody knows you dial 911. Call the police, call the ambulance, call the fire truck, whatever. It's 911. Girl, I could not figure out what the numbers was. I'm like, what? How do I call the police? I was so shaken up. And I finally figured out, like, 911, duh. I called 911, and girl, the phone is ringing like I'm calling somebody's house phone. It's just ringing, ringing, ringing. I'm like, what if somebody was after me or something? They would have done got me dealing with 911. So anyway, the dispatcher lady, she picks up the phone and she says her little thing, whatever they're supposed to say. And I'm like frantic. I'm like, I just got robbed and this and that. And she's like asking all these questions, and it's so hard for me to answer and tell her what's going on because I was so scared, literally. And I'm thinking like, okay, what just happened? And I'm trying to like tell her everything, and she's like, okay, the first thing you need to do is leave, don't stay there, we're sending somebody right now. So mind you, I hadn't even contacted my clients yet. I didn't tell anyone but the police and my mom. I literally wasn't even thinking. And at this point, it's like 30 minutes until my client's appointment. So I'm like, dang, I'm gonna have to tell her. So I think I sent her a text message or something because I just was all over the place. I really did not have the strength to be trying to call nobody on the phone to tell them that I just got robbed and like you can't come. But yeah, I ended up telling her and she was actually cool with it. Like I told her like give me a second to figure some things out and I'll send you back your deposit. She ended up telling me to keep it, but I sent it back anyway because girl, like I didn't even get a chance to see you, so here's your money. Like I'm definitely not one of those, you know how like people always say makeup artists, hairstylists, and nail techs, like they try to scam you and take your money and stuff. That is definitely not me. I have so much integrity, I can never do that to somebody. But I ended up sitting there for maybe like 6-7 minutes to wait for the police, and I saw the police pull up and I was afraid to go back to the building. Like I didn't even want to sit in the front of the building. I was petrified. So I ended up staying at the gas station, and when I saw the police pass by, that's when I was like, I ended up following him in. The police officer that arrives, he is a Hispanic male, and I'm telling him like, yeah, you know, this is what happened, this and that, and he's like, all they took is makeup. Like he said it like, you called the police over makeup. And I'm like, yes, makeup, that's my job, that's how I make my money. Like regardless what it was, like we just got robbed. Like why do you even care what it is? Just do your job. So he called another officer because I guess they couldn't go in he couldn't go in to check out things by himself, and I definitely wasn't going in there. So he called another officer, and the other officer arrived, and he's saying the same thing, like, so all they took is makeup? Like, did you see the guy or did you see the person? I'm like, no, I did not see anyone. I literally left as soon as I saw that everything was popped open and stuff was all over the place. And yes, it's just makeup, but that's a lot of money worth of makeup. Plus it was 2 of us in that suite. It was me and Shania. That's a lot. They took a Glamcore light from her. Like that's money right there. Forget what the actual thing was that got stolen. It costs money. Like I paid money for this stuff. I think the fact that they were downplaying what was taken from us was really pissing me off. And I was trying to tell them, like, I don't know what else was taken. I'm just telling you what was taken from me and, you know, from my space. I don't know what else was taken from anyone else's space. As we're like driving back to the back of the building, the last check that I told y'all that I actually did like, whose stuff was all over the place, she ended up pulling up, and I'm like, girl, oh my god, we just got robbed. And she's like, what? Like I remember she started cussing, and she was like, what the F, da, 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, the police, they about to go check it out, this and that, da, 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 da. And I think I hadn't even told the owner of the building yet. I didn't even tell Shania yet, I don't think. But as like things started to calm down and like my adrenaline started to calm down, that's when I was like, let me tell Shania and let me tell the owner, or you know, the lady that I'm renting from. And I text her, and she showed up like 10 minutes later. Like it was really, really quick. The police, they also called another guy, and I'm assuming he actually was the detective. I'm not assuming, he was the actual detective. And he's like doing his detective job, like he's moving stuff around and like putting the pieces together in his head. And the police, like they told me like, okay, you can come on in. And the police, the 2 police officers and the detective, they literally showed me the route. That I really think that this job was an inside job, like somebody that knew this building. Because how did you avoid all of the security cameras? How did you know about this secret exit that was inside of that closet? Like I've been there for a year and a half, and I never knew that there was another exit except from the one that we always went in and out of. That's why I think it was the cleaning people, because y'all just did a little too much. Like y'all avoided the cameras, y'all knew a little too much. The way the robber got in, there was a window in one of the, like there was a really huge suite. Like it was big enough to be like an actual salon. That room, it, like you could see in it because the double doors were glass, but it was only like extra supplies in there, and like tools and rolled up carpet. Because like I said, the building was like, from the time that I've gotten there, they were always doing like some type of construction and like renovation and stuff. So all the little construction supplies and stuff like that, the building supplies, the electricity supplies and stuff were like housed in this big suite that no one was ever in. Apparently there was a window in there. That's where the robber came through, and they actually ended up finding his freaking fingerprints on the window. Like, how stupid could you be? You should have put gloves on. Like, I ain't no robber, and I never did no robbery, no burglary, or nothing like that. But I'm just assuming when you do a crime, you need to cover your fingertips at all times. But so once he got in the window, the cops, like, first of all, I'm nervous. I'm like, first of all, y'all got me in here. Y'all don't even know if this man's still in here, or this woman, whoever. Y'all know if they're still in here or not. But I felt more, you know, comfortable because the cops and the detectives were there. But yeah, so he came through that window that was in that big unit, and he left out of that freaking closet that was right near my freaking space. Like, oh my God, that is so scary to me. So after they showed me the route that the freaking burglar took, I think that's when the lady that I rent from, that's when she arrived. And like everybody else, the other tenants and stuff started arriving. I'm assuming she called them, because I definitely didn't. And at this point, we were drawing like a crowd because the police were there. Anytime people see police, they start worrying, like, what's happening? You know, who died? Like, what's going on? Who got shot? You know how people are. So as like I'm filling out the police report, and like the report that tells everything that I lost, or rather got stolen, I get a freaking call. I get a call from my mother, and she's bawling her eyes out, y'all. And I'm like, as soon as I heard her crying, first of all, I was talking to the detective and stuff like that, so my mind kind of had went blank for a minute. And when I'm hearing her cry, and I'm like, Mom, what's wrong? What's wrong? And she said something and I didn't know what she said. So I'm like, what are you saying? And then it clicked to me. Y'all, prepare yourself for what I'm about to tell y'all. My freaking dad just died. In the middle of all this madness, I completely forgot that my dad was even in hospice. It had been something I was worried about for the whole month of December. And I even thought about closing my books, because I knew when this day came, I needed to be there for my family. Me and my mom are literally like two peas in a pod. We are super close. And I knew I would have to be there for my mom when I got this, well, when we got this call. And like I said, I had been waiting for the call since he went in hospice, and since I, you know, realized that his health was really declining. But it just slipped my mind. I was not thinking about it at this time, because all this madness had just happened. And then I was trying to pack my stuff up, because I was like, I'm not ever coming back here again. Like, I just won't have to work, because I'm not coming back here. Me and Shania were packing up our stuff, and it just was a weird feeling. Like, dang, we just got robbed. Like, we got the little stuff. I'm gonna insert pictures and stuff of what we had left. We're trying to pack that up so that we could take it. Like, the little belongings that we had left. Wow. Like, as soon as I got the call that my dad passed away, my mom, she's bawling her eyes out on the phone. I'm like, oh my God, I have to go. And I told the lady that I rent from, like, oh my God, my dad just passed, I have to go. And y'all, this lady is so sweet, man. She came with me all the way to my house, and she knew my mom really well also, because my mom, she's the type of person, people really love her. They gravitate towards my mom when they meet her. So she already really knew my mom really well from just the times that my mom visited the salon and stuff like that. And the lady was like, I'm gonna come with you. Y'all, when I tell y'all I was speeding down 285, like like with everything that just happened, I did not even care anymore. I just needed to get to my family. And that was a crazy day, man. That was one of the worst days of my life, if you want to be honest. It just was not a lot of things happened to me, like bad things like that. So when something like that happens and you're not used to bad things happening, it really took a toll on me. And if you know me, you know I already have really bad anxiety. But I was really holding it together really well. And like I said, this happened December 15th, so it was around Christmas time. And like, of course, everyone's always happy and jolly during Christmas time, you know, being with family. And I was just thinking like, dang, anytime I think about Christmas, I'm gonna always think about getting robbed and my freaking dad passing away. So once I was able to get home and get settled, that's when things started to kind of calm down a bit. Of course, the air was still very thick in my household because my dad, you know, we were waiting for that call, but not today. So this happened on a Tuesday. So on Thursday was the next day that I had to take clients. And I messaged them and I was letting them know like what happened to us, and you know, to stay on standby so I could try to find somewhere else to work. And Shania also agreed that she did not want to work at that location anymore because we were scared. Like, we're not used to stuff like that happening to us. I'm like, I can't be here anymore. And y'all, when I tell y'all, we literally searched high and low for somewhere to work. Shout out to all the people that tried to help us find somewhere to work. I really appreciate y'all, because people were sending us new spaces and like places that were having deals and everything, but it just was really a lot going on. Christmas, the funeral, I really couldn't even be bothered. Like, I was like, I'll just deal with this when New Year comes. By the freaking grace of God, we found a little makeshift place to take our clients, because we both had clients like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Y'all know those are really popular days for people to be getting their makeup done. And we were thinking about renting hotel rooms, and it just, oh my God, I'm like, it makes no sense for us to even work. Like, we're gonna be giving everything that we make is gonna go right back to the hotel. But through the grace of God, we found a vacant condo to take our clients. Like, literally there was nothing in this condo. My brother, actually, he knew somebody that knew somebody that knew somebody. You know, when you got the plug or whatever, the connect. So it was more than enough space for both of us and both of our clients. And we were also able to stay 6 feet apart. Like, our clients were able to stay 6 feet apart. Now, if I hadn't have gotten robbed, I would have still had to service my clients, and I would have still got that call from my mom saying, you know, your dad just passed away. And I would have been caught up in work, because obviously you can't just tell those girls gotta go, like, got family issues. I mean, you can, but they got things that they have to do too, and they paid me money. You know, they trusted me, and I just felt I can't disappoint them like that. So I'm happy that this happened when it did, because I had like a valid excuse to cancel on my clients. And plus, the police, they literally told me like, you can't be here, you can't touch anything right now. Once they settled everything in, like, they told us that we could touch stuff again, but at that point I ain't have nothing. They took all my good stuff, y'all. That's why I thought it was that family, because how you took all the good stuff and left all the cheap stuff behind. Like, how does that even work? It had to be somebody that knew something about something. They was looking for something, and they took it. They found it and they took it. I remember going to Ulta the next day to try to replenish the things that well, not even to replenish the things that I lost, but I still had to work. Like, they don't want to hear, oh, I got robbed. Like, you know, you got to make it shake. You can't disappoint your clients, because then they won't return. So I went to Ulta, and I was just talking to the lady. Like, I picked out a whole bunch of new stuff, and basically I got what I could. And I was telling the lady, the lady at Ulta, the lady that was checking me out, like, yeah, girl, I'm purchasing all this because I just got robbed. And she gave me 30% off my whole purchase. And I'm like, thank you. That was such a blessing. So I got all that stuff for like cheap. But isn't that just crazy, y'all? How, like, I have so much faith. Like, I truly believe that everything happens for a reason. You may not know what that reason is, but if you just sit back, relax, you'll soon realize, like, okay, this is why that happened. This is why it happened the way it did, when it did. You know, it'll all start to make sense. Shout out to all the people that helped us you know, get back to 100%. Shout out to everybody that was a part of this, you know, and making a full recovery. But that is all I have for y'all today. I'm actually feeling myself, so shout out to that. But yes, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in. And if you watched all the way through the end, thank you so much. If you like content like this, or if you want more story times, let me know, because I actually have a couple more that I think y'all will really like. Before you head out, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and of course, subscribe. I try to post videos every Sunday, and then I kind of throw in one here and there during the weekdays. Thank y'all so much again, and I will see y'all in the next one.